Hi viewers, welcome once more to Achoda Hustle Stories. Well, in this episode, we're going to be talking about China's silent war on Africa and what every hustler must learn. If you want to enslave a nation, you don't need chains anymore. Just offer them loans, build their bridges, and own their future. It is that simple. A lot of people in Africa, when talking about some of the reasons for Africa's underdevelopment, they are quick to point a finger at Europe. I'm talking about France, the UK, and America. Well, we know they are the usual suspects. The other day, I had a conversation with a friend. He said the West looted us, colonized us, and weakened us. And yes, they did. There's no argument about that. But my question is this: who is looting Africa now? Who is milking the continent with a smile on their faces? And they made the China stamp on every piece of our economy. Virtually everything. Look at the studio right now. The microphone made in China, this laptop made in China, everything, the console made in China. The people looting us, it is not France, it is not the Queen, it is China. Yes, China. If you are a hustler, a dreamer, or someone building something on this continent, you need to wake up, because the colonization of Africa did not stop. It simply changed clothes. I mean, it is now dressed in designers. I hope you know the worst form of colonizer is the one who make you feel he is your savior. We have entered the age of economic colonization, and no one does it more silently, more patiently, and more aggressively than communist China. While we are busy fighting tribal wars and begging for IMF scrap, China is taking an entire port, it's taking over oil fields, it's taking over railways and telecoms lines, and they are doing it legally across Africa at an aggressive scale. That's the funny thing about this. Legally, they are doing this legally, but dangerously. You see, China doesn't just want your land, they want your data. They want your market. They want your dependent, so that you be solely dependent on them. They show up with infrastructure, but live with influence. They build roads to your minerals, not to your schools, but to your natural resources in order to exploit them. They give you loans, not ownership. They fund your leadership campaigns, your leaders' campaign, and not your people's future. There's this African proverb that when a man builds your house for free, you need to check the title deed. There's so much wisdom in that. I repeat, once a man builds your house for free, you need to check the title deed. Look at major Africa cities today. Who owns the biggest shopping malls? Who controls the raw materials? Who is constructing government building and surveillance infrastructure? It is not local businesses. It is not local contractors. It is Chinese state-backed companies. The Chinese have so disciplined themselves to play the long game, while the non-average Africa youth are busy dreaming of visas to go over. China is buying the continent brick by brick, border by border. The real war is not with bullets. It is with contracts, policies, and silence. And that's the plain truth. Now, here's the punchline for my fellow hustlers. We must learn from the Chinese, not just complain about them. We must learn their strategies and learn to implement it. While they are building empires on foreign soil, we are building clout on Instagram. The Chinese think in 100 years plan. We think in election cycles and quick money schemes. They build industries while we build noise across Africa. The culture need to change for us to have a drastic shift. So what should a real African hustler do in this situation? The game is simple for the smart. The game is very simple for the smart. You need to study Chinese business models and use their patience. You need to use their planning and persistence in your hustle. You need to stop selling your birthright for short-term contracts. You need to push for policies that protect local entrepreneurs, not sell them out. You need to also understand that if you don't build your own factories, you will work in someone else's own. I keep saying this. A hustler without a strategy is just a slave with hope. A hustler without a strategy is just a slave with hope. We need to outsmart them, not outcry them. Africa doesn't need another savior we need economic soldiers. And that's why we have channel like this. We need economic soldiers to build economic soldiers. And every Africa hustler must choose wisely. Will you be a buyer or you will be bought? There is something every hustler must learn from China. My brothers, my sisters, the world is waiting for you. While you are stuck in analysis paralysis, as I call it, China is moving like a silent dragon. They are well calculated, relentless in their step, discipline. And if you, the African hustler, want to rise of poverty, noise, and empty hustle, you need to study the Chinese game, how they play this game well, and you need to beat them at their own game. So as young entrepreneurs, don't just copy the swag. You need to copy the Chinese system also and copy the Chinese culture also. What is making them to succeed? You must develop the long-term vision over quick cash syndrome. That's what is killing us over here in Africa, the quick cash syndrome. China doesn't rush. They build 100 years ahead. They delay gratification while many African hustlers are chasing instant profits. The Chinese are building slow, solid, and scalable businesses. There is a Chinese proverb that says, a man who plants bamboo, bamboo, knows he will wait 7 years before he harvests. But when it grows faster than any tree you can ever imagine. So ask yourself, what have I been planting these few years? Have you been building to last, or you are just building because everyone out there is building? You are just building but not building to last. Stop looking for urgent money and build something with roots. You need to build something that will stand the test of time. Your first 2 years in business are for sweat and not for champagne. If you look at the Chinese entrepreneurs, they work like machines. Factories open at 5 a.m., shops closes at midnight. The CEO is the cleaner, the accountant, and the delivery man. Pride is not in the job, it is the results they are after. For indeed, he who wakes up before the sun becomes the light for others. That's the hustler's creed. So to make it in the fast evolving world, you got to be the hustler that wakes up earlier, stay up late, outsmart everyone, outwork everyone. Let your hustle embarrass your excuses. In this business era of the 21st century, your ability to master supply chains, not just selling, is going to increase your success margin more than you can ever imagine. China doesn't just sell product. They make it, they ship it, they own the factories, the containers, and the label. That's control, that's wealth, that's real wealth. Real wealth is in control. You don't get rich selling rice, you get rich owning the farm, the truck, and the bar. That's the game, that's how it works. So you got to grow your hustle to a point that you are not just a middleman. You got to aim to control the process, learn production, understand logistics, and own your pipeline. That's how winning is done. There is something again that I have noticed. The Chinese communities work in cycles. They work in cycle of trust. They buy from each other, learn to each other, and build together. No envy, just strategy. This is all about these all boils down to the Asian wisdom that if 5 men push one cart, they move faster than 1 man pulling 5 carts. So as a hustler, you got to learn to build your cycle. You need to support your brother's shop, invest in your sister's hustle, because indeed, unity multiplies wealth and division multiplies struggle. That's fact. Most days you may not feel like working, but take a clue from the Chinese. These guys don't care. They show up, they produce, they deliver. That's daily. There's nothing like noise, no vibe, just result. So the game is in your court. Are you down for vibes or you are down for result? It is so unfortunate that too many hustlers are down for just the vibes rather than result. And that's the problem we are facing in Africa. I wrote something in my diary years ago that you see this thing they call motivation. It is for amateurs. Discipline is for kings. And that's the truth. So what am I saying? What I'm saying in essence is this. For you to recreate the Chinese model, You got to train yourself to show up even when you are tired, to show up even when you are broke or doubting yourself, because discipline is what will feed you when motivation is gone. Because motivation is like a drug. It will definitely disappear and leave you up against the monstrous giant of despair. So, but through this period, what will keep you is motivation and discipline. So you got to learn skills, not just trends. The average Chinese entrepreneur can fix a machine, they can negotiate deals and read market graph. They are generalists with a specialty. They don't just follow the trend, they create them. If you only know how to copy, you will always be behind. That's the plain truth. So you got to learn something new daily. You got to design, you got to learn to code, you got to learn sales, you got to learn mechanics, you got to stack your skills until you become unstoppable. So hustlers, you can hate China, you can fear China, but the real winners will learn from the Chinese. But you got to move with strategy, because the wise man watches the lion hunt, then builds a better trap. I repeat, I said the wise man watches the lion hunt, then go to work in order to build a better trap. So don't just hustle blindly, hustle with strategy, with unity, with ownership. And one day, maybe one day, your grandkids will thank you for breaking the cycle of consumer poverty, which is affecting Africa. This is Achoda Hustle Stories, where we don't just talk hustle, we teach it. So thanks for joining this amazing channel and watching this episode right to the very end. If you haven't joined our amazing community, endeavor to hit the subscribe tab and join this growing community of hustlers. Have a wonderful day and may your hustle succeed. Cheers.